Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्तिस्वामिने नमः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय कृष्णाय क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वलोकहिते रतं वेदाब्जभास्करं वन्दे शमादिनिलयं मुनिं सहस्रमूर्ते पुरुषोत्तमस्य सहस्रनेत्राननपादबाहोः सहस्रनाम्नां स्तवनं प्रशस्तं निरुच्यते जन्मजरादिशान्त्यै. So, after offering our prayers, we start today's class, and we are the last class looking at the Bhashyam and Adi Shankara's sentences we were discussing, and I think I stopped where did I stop? Yes, Pavanani, right? Yeah, Pavanani is where I stopped. And he said the Pavanani Dharma Rahasyani cha. That is exactly the point where I think I stopped, if I'm not wrong. Okay, we'll continue from there. So, as I was saying, Pavanani is purificatory karmas, all the prayaschitta karmas. So, here, Bhishma Pitamaha is giving the Upadesha to Yudhishthira of the entire Dharma Shastra. Everything which is there in the Dharma Shastra, he is giving Upadesha, and it includes all the prayaschitta karmas. As I told you in the last class, there are 5 types of karmas which are talked about in the Shastras: Nitya karma, Naimittika karma, Kamya karma, Prayaschitta karma, and Nishiddha karmas. So out of that, everything he has told Prayaschitta karmas. And then Adi Shankara adds one very, very beautiful word, Dharma Rahasyani cha. And I had left you all in suspense. What is this Dharma Rahasyam? The Rahasyam is always suspense, isn't it? Secret. So the scriptures contain certain secrets relating to this Dharma. All the Samanya Dharma, Vishesha Dharmas, all there. They are all very well documented for every person to follow, both depending on what general dharmas he should follow and what specific dharmas he should follow. But those scriptures also contain certain secrets relating to this dharma. And that also, Adi Shankara says that Yudhishthira was advised. He was told that these are the Dharma Rahasyams. Okay. Now, what are these Dharma Rahasyams? Because for us, that is the most curious thing. We will leave all the dharmas, but if there is a secret, we all want to know what that secret is. And in fact, these are not secrets in the sense of not to be told to anybody. These are secrets to be understood even when we see those things. When we read those things, we have to understand them as they are rahasyams. They are exceptions to the rules of dharma. And they are applicable, as I told you, only to specific people. Everybody cannot claim that exception. And there are a few examples which I can quote, which I can refer to, right? First of all, these exceptions or exemptions are available only to those people who are staunch followers of all the dharmas. There should be embodiment of dharmas. Only for those people, the Shastras allow certain exceptions to the following of the dharma under certain circumstances. This is the first point we have to understand. So you and me, who actually don't even follow our Swadharma, forget Samanya Dharma. Even our own Swadharma we don't follow, these exceptions will not be applicable to us and not available to us. So this is the first point we have to know. Only those people who are staunch followers of Dharma, who adhere to all the Dharma rules which apply to them, only to those persons these exceptions are available, right? Because those people, when they follow the Dharma very strictly, there will be occasions of Dharma Sankata. That is the nature of the world. They may be forced to do certain adharmic activity as an exception for a greater benefit, for a greater good of the mankind. Under those circumstances, the Shastra says that those people who are staunch followers of this Dharma can, invoke those exception clauses, and they can actually, to a limited extent, indulge in adharma. This is the rahasya. This is the secret. For example, such people, under some circumstances, may be required to tell a lie. Even though Shastra says Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, but in those some special circumstances, such people may be required to tell a lie. But since they have got a very good understanding of the Dharma, all the Dharma Shastras, the values enshrined in the Dharma Shastras, they will not have the guilt feeling for having told a lie. They understand and know very well that I am doing this for the greater good of the mankind. So the Shastras permit me to do it. You and me cannot take advantage of that exceptions because we don't fall in the category of staunch followers of Dharma. And that is why many times in our mind, questions come up. We say Rama told a lie. So what is wrong in telling a lie? I will also tell a lie. Rama is supposed to be a Dharma, embodiment of Dharma. You can do, provided you do everything what Rama did. All the dharmic things which Rama did, if you do, then you will also enjoy the exception given to Rama. Or for that matter, Krishna. Or even for that matter, Yudhishthira himself in the Kurukshetra war. In fact, there is a story in the Ramayana. Both Ramayana and Mahabharata contain all these dharma rahasyams, and we come across that, but we don't realize it is a rahasya. We don't realize the entire applicability of these rahasyams or these exceptions, right? There is a story in Ramayana where Rama, who actually totally committed to dharma, advised somebody to tell a lie. Right? Now, advising somebody to tell a lie is adharmic activity. And this incident occurred when Rama was asked to go to the forest by Dasharatha. So Rama got ready, got into his chariot driven by Sumantara, and asked him to drive the chariot towards the forest. And Dasharatha, realizing what was going to happen, started shouting and pleading with Rama not to go. In fact, he was wailing, and so were the people of Ayodhya. There's so much of chaos and, lot of people crying, wailing, and so much of din was there, sound was there. Naturally, Rama was the most loved prince in Ayodhya. And for whatever reason, he is now proceeding for 14 years to the forest. So everybody is unhappy, everybody is sad, they are miserable, they are crying, shouting, and all that kind of thing. And everybody was begging him not to go also. That was also happening. But what Rama did, he told Sumantara, ignore all these things, you will drive, you go towards the forest and start the chariot. But Sumantara was hesitant. Because Sumantara, even though he was the charioteer, he was in the employment of Dasharatha. Dasharatha was still the king. And Sumantara was the employee. So he questions Rama that how can I actually ignore what my master is telling me? Ignore the orders of my master. He is actually, by stop asking you to not to go, is indirectly directing me not to drive the chariot. And you are telling me to go. For me, he is the master. So how can I listen to you and I should go? How can I ignore Dasharatha? Right? Because once he has dropped him in the forest, he will have to come back and face Dasharatha. Isn't it? He will say, when I was shouting, who asked you to start the chariot? Now, Sumatra, you are in for some good punishment. That's what Dasharatha may say. Right? So, Sumantara is very clever. So he asks, I will do what you are asking me to do. But when I come back and if Dasharatha asks me this question as to why you did not heed to my orders, what answer can I give Rama? You know what Rama tells him? He says, when you come back, you tell him that his shouting you did not hear because all the din and the sound which was there being made there. Total lie. Rama tells him, you tell him that you did not hear, but now you go. Right? So, the question will arise as to what Rama did was right or wrong. And this is what we will all immediately jump and take advantage. Rama advised Sumantara to tell a lie, to his own father. So what is wrong if I tell a lie? This is a question we ask, right? Now this is certainly a controversial question. But given the context, advising Sumantara to tell a lie in the interest of protecting dharma. Mind you, what was Rama's intention? Rama's intention was to protect the dharma, the Raja dharma of Dasharatha. Responsibility of upholding that was now with Rama. Because of that Raja dharma, the promise that he had given to Kaikeyi, only Rama was asked to go to the forest. If Rama makes this excuse, he told me to go to the forest, I was ready to go, but then later on he only told me to stop. So I stopped. This is what all politicians do these days, isn't it? They will say one thing at one time, another thing at another time. Total adharma. So, for protecting the dharma, for upholding the dharma, such people who are staunch followers of the dharma, the Shastra permits them to tell a lie in certain circumstances. And Rama knows that when he asked him to go to the forest, Dasharatha was acting as the king and he was fulfilling his Rajadharma. Now, when Dasharatha is asking Rama to stop from going, Dasharatha is acting as a father of Rama who is emotionally driven. So between the need to uphold the Raja Dharma and compared to that heeding to the emotional outburst of a father, Rama weighs the two things. Which is more important for me as a person who has to protect the Dharma, who has to be an example, who has to be a role model for the people. In Dasharatha, wailing as an emotional father, asking Rama not to go, he himself was doing an adharmic activity. Dasharatha got his roles mixed. On the one hand, he upheld the Raja Dharma when, with great difficulty, it was not easy for Dasharatha to ask Rama to go to the forest. In fact, he even tells Rama, as a Raja, I have told you to go to the forest, so you have to go. But as a prince, you have got a right for this throne. So you can do one thing, you can kill me and take this throne. Dasharatha offers, kill me and take the throne. Don't go to the forest. Such was the emotional, confusion which Dasharatha had. And Rama knew that very well. So that is why he tells Sumantra, this Dasharatha who is ordering you to stop is not the king Dasharatha. This is Rama's father Dasharatha. You have no responsibility towards Rama's father Dasharatha. Your responsibility as an employee of Ayodhya Nagari is to the king Dasharatha, and that king Dasharatha has asked me to go, so you please go. And I am just giving you, if Dasharatha is confused, you don't get confused. If he asks you, you say, I didn't hear. That's all. Nothing wrong in that. I am telling you. So this is the one exception we see in the Ramayana. So such acts are permitted by the Shastra in exceptional circumstances, and they are called this Dharma Rahasya, secrets of Dharma. There is another instance. At one stage, after asking Rama to go to the forest and saying that Bharata will be crowned the king, as I told you, there, Rama, you have actually done Pitruvakya Paripalanam by agreeing to go. Pitruvakya Paripalanam is Samanya Dharma. And as a king, the kingdom rightly belongs to you. So if I do not give you this kingdom, then I will be actually doing an adharma. This is another argument Dasharatha gives to Rama. So by going, you are actually prompting me to do adharma by not handing over the kingdom to you, who is the rightful owner. So it is in that context that he said that you can kill me and take the kingdom away. And then he goes one step ahead. Dasharatha is such confused character. He says that as a king, I am ordering you to kill me. Now you have to obey me. Kill me and you become the king. So the Pitruvakya Paripalanam would have been done. You are ready to go. But because of that, I am doing adharma. So you will save me from adharma by killing me and taking the throne. So Rama says, for me, my father is more important than the king when I have to obey the as a samanya dharma. Pitru Vakya Paripalanam, I have to do. So there I see you as my father. That is the most important dharma for me. You told me to go, I have agreed to go. Right. So the question is, that also is Pitruvakya Paripalanam, this also is Pitruvakya Paripalanam. To go to asking him to go to the forest also is Pitruvakyam. Now the same king is asking him to kill him and take the throne is also Pitruvakyam. So between the two, which is the more important dharma, he has to decide, right? Rama says that the earlier Pitruvakyam dharma is the dharma. That Vakya only is Pramanyam because that is nothing to do with us. That is the promise that you had given to your wife, Kaikeyi. Under what circumstances? We all know the circumstances in which that promise was made. So, for me, that Pitruvakya Paripalanam is more important, is more dharmic than this Pitruvakya Paripalanam which you are asking me to do. Now you are talking emotionally. There you are talking rationally. When you were reminded of your promises, you said, yes, I have given the promise. Accordingly, you called me and told me, this is the promise I have given to my wife, so you please pack up and go to the forest. This is what you were told at that time. Now suddenly emotions have overtaken you. So his Rama says that is when there are two Pitruvakyas. See, these are all very subtle, very sukshman samaja. We need to have a very subtle mind to understand the subtleties of these things. With a gross mindset, we will never be able to understand. We will only see conflicts in all these situations. Controversial, we'll say they are controversial. So many things are there. I mean, people ask why Rama asked Sita to, go through the fire. Another question people ask. Why? Because they know nothing about Dharma Shastra. When you talk about Dharma Shastra, you should also understand the Dharma Rahasyani. There are so many Rahasyams are there. So that is what, Bhishma is telling all these things. In fact, the other example in Mahabharata itself is when Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is the person who has given the entire Dharma Shastra to this world, asks Yudhishthira to tell a lie. Yudhishthira, who is the Dharma Putra, living embodiment of Dharma, Krishna tells him to tell a lie. Where? In the Kurukshetra war. Because this Dronacharya was fighting like mad. If Dronacharya was not conquered, Krishna knew that Pandavas cannot win this war. Why? Because whatever skill that Arjuna has, whatever skill of warfare all these Pancha Pandavas have got, from where they got that? From Dronacharya only. And no guru will tell 100% of what he knows to the Shishya. Every guru will keep something for himself. So Dronacharya also kept certain things, certain secrets of warfare for himself, and he will bring that to use in the war. So Krishna understood this, and he knew that this Dronacharya has to be conquered if Pandavas has to win this war. If Krishna had fought, there was no problem because Krishna was much more skillful in warfare than Dronacharya himself. But Krishna had promised that he will not fight. He will not pick up the bow and arrow. So he told Yudhishthira, you tell a lie. What was the lie? You said, you just shout that Ashwatthama is killed. Yudhishthira says, what are you saying? Ashwatthama is Dronacharya's son, fighting the war on behalf of the Kauravas. And you say I should tell a lie that Ashwatthama is killed? Krishna says, no, no, wait. You see that elephant? That elephant's name is Ashwatthama. You kill that elephant. And then shout that Ashwatthama is killed. Then it will not be a lie. Now Yudhishthira is confused. But he follows what Krishna is saying. He kills that elephant and he shouts, Ashwatthama is killed. And at the end, he adds the elephant. You know, we have all this small print in contracts. You know, very important, the small prints. So like that, he shouts, Ashwatthama is killed. But in a lower tone, he says, the elephant. Right? So what happens? Dronacharya hears the first two words, Ashwatthama is killed. But because of the din of the war and also the low tone which Yudhishthira uses, he doesn't hear the word the elephant. Kunjara, he says, right? Ashwatthama hataha kunjara, he says. So the kunjara word he doesn't hear, Dronacharya. But he knows that Ashwatthama cannot be killed. He is a Chiranjeevi. How Yudhishthira is saying that Ashwatthama is killed? So Dronacharya again asks, are you sure Ashwatthama is killed? Yudhishthira says, yes, Ashwatthama is killed. Kunjara. It repeats the same thing. On hearing that, Dronacharya puts down his bows and arrows. Bow and arrows. He resigns from the war like a chess player. When he knows that he has nothing else left to fight, he will resign the game. Right? So Dronacharya resigns, and that is the turning point in Mahabharata. After that only Pandavas are able to conquer the Kauravas. So there also the question will be, first of all, Krishna, the great guru, is advising Yudhishthira to tell a lie. Okay. He has advised. Should Yudhishthira tell a lie? Knowing very well that he is telling a lie. That is the Dharma Rahasya. Why the entire Mahabharata was what? It was called a Dharma Yuddha. It was necessary for the Pandavas to win the war to establish Dharma. Krishna took the avatara only for that purpose. To establish that Dharma in that Dwapara Yuga. Because of the adharmic activities being spread by all these Kauravas with their father as their head. They tried each and every method in the rule book to kill the Pandavas, deny them the throne, their rightful throne, everything they did, all adharmic activities. That's why Krishna took the avatar. So for him, this war was not between Panja Pandava and Kauravas and all. For Krishna, this was a war between Dharma and Adharma. And Krishna's responsibility as a person who has given this Dharma to the entire world was to uphold that Dharma. That's what he says. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. In every yuga I will take birth. In this yuga I have taken birthplace to uphold the dharma. So when that is the goal, the motive of this entire exercise of this war, one lie is, if it is required for upholding the dharma, he says, Yudhishthira, you tell that lie. So From a Laukika angle, we can look at it and then say, Yudhishthira told a lie, Rama has told a lie, why can't I say a lie? You can tell a lie. You will also be permitted to tell a lie, provided you have done everything else in your life like Yudhishthira and Rama did. If you have not done that way, which we are all very sure we have never done, then we have no right to take that, take recourse to that exception, which is the dharma rahasya, right? And even here also, when you go to a doctor with a serious illness, the doctor also will not tell you everything about your illness, what all could happen. In fact, he may be even telling you there is nothing major wrong. One small surgery we have to do, that's all. He knows the seriousness of the situation. The doctor knows, he has seen the reports. He has seen all the x-rays or whatever medical things, He knows it's a very serious case. But will he tell the patient that it is very serious? Oh, you see, this operation has got only 25% chances of success and all. He will never tell the patient. He will only encourage the patient that you undergo this surgery and pray to God, and then everything will be all right. This is what he will say. That is also a rahasyam of the medical profession. If you tell everything to the patient, even if you don't, even if the surgery is successful, the patient will die in depression itself. So these are all in every profession we will find this. Some secrets will be there, some exceptions will always be there. So in the Dharma Shastra also, such exceptions are there, right? Because following Dharma is like walking on the razor's edge, walking on the sword. One has to walk so carefully as to not hurt one's legs. It's not easy to follow the dharmas. We may learn all the dharmas, and as Kali Yuga is progressing more and more, what is happening is only adharma is taking over all dharmic activities. We are into 5,000 years of Kali Yuga, 5,000 odd years of Kali Yuga. What the dharma existed during Adi Shankara's time in the society, today if you compare, they are all gone. Why go to Adi Shankara's time? What dharmas, people following dharmas existed 2 generations ago, today you compare the generations, they are all gone. All that you have to do is sit and then start comparing your grandfather's time or your great-grandfather's time. What was happening, what was the society, what people were doing, what dharmas they were following, and you just compare it with what is happening in today. You will know there is no dharma left. There is no Pitri Dharma, no Putra Dharma, no Putri Dharma, nothing is there. Everybody is on their own self Dharma. And this is increasing. And it will also because of the Kali Yuga Lakshana. That is what it is. And then one avatara will come and then set everything right. When that will happen, we don't know. Anyhow, that is not the topic. So the point is, this Dharma Rahasyas are not very easy to understand. They are not very, they can be very misleading also. So that's why many people don't talk about this Dharma Rahasyas at all. Because people will immediately jump into that. And that's why I have been careful, and Swami Omkarananda, from whom I learned this, all these examples and all, he also is very careful, and he emphasizes again and again and again that these rahasyams, these exceptions are applicable only to those people who are staunch followers of the Dharma in every other respect. Once in a while, you can do this. That is what is the exception. Okay. It is the Dharma Devata itself which gives such persons a right to do this. That is how we have to understand this Dharma Rahasyams. Okay. So the next word now is Shantanavam. Shantanavam is a Shantanu Sutam. Shantanu Sutam means the son of Shantanu, that is Bhishma, right? And he is also called Deva Brata. I think Gangeya. The initial one of the talks I have mentioned, Gangaputra hai and all that. I don't remember. Maybe I have mentioned, right? For those people who are Sanskrit grammar, Shantanu is Shantanoho apatyam puman. Shantanu. Like we say, Dasharatha's son is called Dasharati. Janaka's daughter is Janaki. Like this, Shantanu's son is Shantanam. Like that. Sanskrit. Then next is Abhyabhashata. And Adi Shankara says Abhyabhashata means Prashanam Krutava. Right? Asked a question. So Yudhishthira, after hearing all the Upadeshas about all the dharmas, detailed all the dharmas and different special dharmas, samanya dharmas, exceptions to the rules of dharmas, dharma rahasyani cha, the purificatory dharmas, which is pavanani, all those after listening to everything from Bhishmacharya, Yudhishthira asked a question. This is what Adi Shankara says. And what was that? Sakala Purushartha Sadhana. Right? After hearing about all dharmas, that is Sakala Purushartha Sadhanam. The word Purushartha has got actually two meanings. One, of course, is a goal in life, which we have seen earlier. And it also refers to the efforts that we put to achieve that goal. Both are called Purusharthas in the language. Right? So, this effort itself is taken to be a big wealth, big strength, right? So, Jnana Shakti, Icha Shakti, and Kriya Shakti, this prayatna, the effort that we do, all these are all a wealth that we have got. So, the effort itself is something, what you can call one of our glories that we have this effort. And there are many people who have a problem in understanding this, because if this is not understood and followed, a person who is having some dukkha, he will make other people also undergo the same dukkha experience, suffer from sorrow. So, the Jnana Shakti should be used to know what? Just because Jnana Shakti is there, one should not get knowledge of all irrelevant things. That's what we are all doing. Most of us are doing that. I won't say all. All irrelevant things we get because Jnana Shakti is there. We have that wealth, we have that power of gaining knowledge. We should not go and get knowledge of all irrelevant things. One should get the knowledge of what is relevant and also which is useful for leading one's life in a dharmic way. That is the purpose why this Jnana Shakti has been given to us by Paramatma, by Ishvara. Similarly, Icha Shakti. We must have some viveka. How we should use that Icha Shakti? Can we use that Icha Shakti for each and everything that is there in this world? It could lead us to very great problems rather if we do that indiscriminately, right? So we must know what are the desirable things, what are the undesirable things. Icha Shakti should be used to acquire those desirable things and not the undesirable things. Similarly, Kriya Shakti. We must not use our effort and our skill, everything to do all unnecessary things. What is necessary, we should do. Just because you would have time and you don't have anything else, that's why they say, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. All doing unnecessary things, devilish activities. Don't do that. So all these three Shaktis which are being given to us, they are meant to be used for a certain purpose. A scalpel being used by a surgeon, you cannot use that scalpel for cutting vegetables, isn't it? There's a purpose for that. Use it for that purpose. Similarly, all these powers are given to us so that we use it judiciously, intelligently, with discrimination, and for the purpose of leading a dharmic life, bringing more and more dharma and more Ishvara into our life. We should use all these three powers. So that's why, this all these three forms, all Devi's forms, we worship in all the Devi temples, all the three Shaktis, right? And if we do that the proper way, we will also not have any dukkha, and we will not pass on any dukkha to others also. So that is why, we have to use this human life, as told right in the beginning. It's a very rare opportunity that we have got. This opportunity we must not lose, and we must use it for all, positive and progressive purposes. That is what is the message. And that is how we will attain Ananda. We should do all those things which will give us happiness and not lead to any sorrow. And if we have sorrow, guaranteed we will try to pass on that sorrow to other people, thinking that will reduce our sorrow. But sorrow doesn't reduce that way. It is said by sharing the sorrow, you will reduce your sorrow and all. Your sorrow will remain. You will only share. Like education, like knowledge. You share the knowledge, your knowledge won't be reduced. In fact, it may increase. And we have seen that in many cases. You go to somebody's house. Suppose some bereavement has taken place. Just giving an example. And there is somebody who was very close to the person who has passed away. That person has already cried enough and all that. He is actually he or she is a little bit composed. You go there. You start crying. Seeing you crying, they will also start crying. Oh, such a thing has happened. Everybody is crying, they will also cry. Even though at one stage they have composed and they have actually accepted the reality that so-and-so has passed away. So when you actually have a sorrow, the other people also easily you pass it on, right? So we should use this, our this human life for all positive purposes. That is the message, right? So, as Adi Shankara says, the word that he used was Sakala Purushartha Sadhanam, that which helps us to attain all the Purushartha, the means to attain all the four Purusharthas. Sadhanam here means upaya. Upayam in Tamil we say, or upaya, you can say in Hindi rather. The means, right? So giving result of all the Purusharthas. So the dharmas, it's not only that you have to follow, it will give the result of all the Purusharthas. All Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha Purusharthas, it will give result of all, right? And how that should be, he says, Sukha Sampadhyam. Sampadhyam means to attain, to become. Pad dhatu, right? Sukha means happiness. So, Sukha Sampadhyam means to become happy, to attain happiness. Alpa Prayasam, very little effort, right? Ananta Phalam, limitless effort. These are the words of Adi Shankara. So, such a sadhanam, anuktamiti kritva, even though Bhishmacharya told him everything to Yudhishthira, Yudhishthira felt that Bhishmacharya has not told one thing. He has not told him that thing or that sadhanam, that means which will enable want a human being to attain all the four Purusharthas, and that means should be Ita Sampadhyam, which means that should give him happiness, and Alpa Prayasam, with very little effort. So this Bhishmacharya has not told Yudhishthira. That is why he is asking a question. That is how Aavignidhi connects. So Adi Shankara is explaining why Yudhishthira is asking the question in the next sloka. For this reason, because Bhishmacharya has not told him that one sadhana, which is Sakala Purushartha sadhana, which is Sukha Sampadhyam, and which is also Alpa Prayasam, very little effort what one needs to do to gain happiness. Right? Punaha Abhyabhashataha. So he again asked that question, right? Prashnam Kritava. So he wants to know that sadhana from Bhishma, which is capable of achieving all the Purusharthas and easy to follow and enjoyable, which will lead to happiness and which involves very little effort. And what can be the such a Purushartha sadhana? It can only be moksha. So indirectly, what Yudhishthira is asking is, what is the means for moksha? That is what he is asking. But we will come to that later. Right? So he actually again questioned the son of Shantanu, Bhishma, and what questions he raised are in the next two slokas. In fact, it is not one question. Yudhishthira raises 6 questions. All interconnected. They may appear to be individual questions, but they are all interconnected questions. So we will read the sloka. Yudhishthira uvacha kimekam daivatam loke kim vapyekam parayanam stuvantakam kam archantah prapnuyurmanava shubham. We'll first see the simple word meanings, and then we will go to the bhashya. Okay. So Yudhishthira uvacha. Yudhishthira asked Bhima. Uvacha means asked, you can say, right? So just to recollect, the question in Yudhishthira's mind was that even though Bhishma had given him Upadesha on all the dharmas completely, he had not talked about that one sadhana by which an ordinary human being can get the greatest benefit with least efforts. This is what is there in Yudhishthira's mind. So keeping this in mind, Yudhishthira asked. We can assume that even though Yudhishthira might have known the answer, but he is asking this question for the benefit of all of us, for the benefit of the humankind. Because this kind of a thing happens quite often in satsangs and all that. I have experienced this in the ashram. Pujya Swamiji will be there. He will say something, give a talk, and then the students who are sitting there will be asked to, the floor will be thrown open for questions. Now, 1 or 2 students will ask some questions, which Pujya Swamiji will answer. And then what will happen is, there will be total silence. Nobody else will ask a question, which happens in our class also, isn't it? Only 1 or 2 people ask a question. So there will be total silence, and that silence sometimes could be very awkward silence. So what used to happen was Swami Sadatmananda, Swami Shankarananda, or some other Swamiji who's there. What they will do is that they will ask a question to Pujya Swamiji. as if they have got a doubt. But actually they have no doubt. They know the answer, but still for the benefit of the students, they will ask that question and Puja Swamiji will answer so that the benefit of that answer will go to all the students. So this is a style in the scriptural teaching. So here we can also assume that Yudhishthira knew the answer, but still for the sake of all the humankind, you, me and all were sitting and listening to these talks, Yudhishthira asked this question. Right? Because Shastra says we must listen to these Upadeshas from different people in different ways. But all relevant, and different people, different ways means not all unnecessary things that you should hear. Right? It says Bahubhyaha Bahuvidaha Shrotavyam Bahuda Shrotavyam. Both. Always Bahuda. Many occasions. That's why when any Mahatma comes, we should not lose an occasion to get some Upadesha from him. We must ask him about certain doubts that we have in the Shastra, even in our Laukika life. If we have got some problem, people will consult the Mahatmas, because they will give you an answer impartially. They don't have any agenda for anybody. And they have got a vision. They are jnanis. And they can actually access the answer to your problem anywhere from the Shastra, because Shastra would have talked about all these problems in somewhere or the other. Normal people or even little bit people who have studied, they may not know, but his jnana is like Puja Swamiji and all. The knowledge is just a wealth of knowledge. So much they have studied and they have got in there. So whenever they tell us something, they will tell with a pure intention of helping us, without any agenda, hidden agenda. Right? So this is what, so Yudhishthira is trying to do the same thing. With Bhishmacharya, he is asking this question. So he, as I said, he asked 6 questions. And for all the questions, Bhishma is pointing only to one answer, Narayana. That is the answer. And after pointing out to Narayana as the answer for all the 6 questions, he gives these 1,000 names of this Narayana, this Mahavishnu, and says that this is the easiest thing that any human being can do. Least effort. Just chant Vishnu Sahasranamam. This is what Bhishmacharya says. Right? So as I said, these are all connected questions. Now let us see this shloka. The first question is, what was the first question? Kimekam daivatam loke. Now this is in a verse form. So we have to put it in a prose form. Do the anvaya. Loke kim ekam daivatam. In the world, which is that one God or one Lord, one Supreme Lord. Loke kim ekam daivatam. Because there are instructions in the Shastra how to do this anvaya, in fact, even how to teach and make others understand the slokas. Especially Upanishad mantras and all that, they are all in verse form. And Sanskrit is a language where you can place any padam anywhere. Unlike English and all that, first subject has to come, then predicate has to come and all that. Sanskrit doesn't have such rules. You can mix everything, and that makes it really a poetic, friendly language. The poets use this liberty to actually, write the verses. They do that. So here also the prose sentence is Kim ekam daivatam, loke kim ekam daivatam. In English we would have said, in the world which is that one Lord. But in prose, in a verse form, Kim ekam daivatam loke. And because it has to follow certain rules relating to composition of verses also. Those are all very strict rules are there in Sanskrit language, chandas, meter, everything is there. How many syllables, how many vowels a particular verse can have and all that. So many rules are there, right? And there is a shloka actually which explains how this whole thing should be done, how you must understand a verse in the language. It says, Padacchedaha Padarthoktihi Vigraho Vakya Yojana Akshepasya Samadhanam Vyakhyanam Panchalakshanam. And I am told that, of course, even though I am not saying, I'm told that such instructions are there in Tamil also. In Tolkappiyam, there are about 30 aspects, talks about how to explain a particular verse, a poem, right? So, Padacheda means each word, or pada means a word, has to be separated. You have to separate each word in the pada. And Sanskrit language has got the sandhis, which when two words join together, the sound changes. So that also you have to separate the sandhis also, right? And so each word after separation has to be understood individually. Then for each separated word, the contextual meaning should be given, because a word has got may have lot of meanings. In fact, they do. In all languages, even English, Tamil also, a word may have many meanings. In Sanskrit, especially, a lot of meanings you will come across. So we will see the context and give the meaning to the word which is there in the context, contextual meaning. Because the same meaning will not apply to all the contexts. Even a change in the tone may actually change the meaning of the word, right? So the Padartha Ukti, that is what is said by Padartha Ukti. Then Vigraha. Vigraha means derivation of the word. How the word is derived. The grammar points are to be explained. This is how the teaching is to be done. Then Vakya Yojanani. The words, once they are all separated, you rearrange them. That's what we call Anvaya, right? So that is how what we have done here. Kimekam Daivatam Loke has been rearranged as Loke Ekam Daivatam Kim. That is what we have rearranged, right? So this is called Anvaya. Then Akshepasya Samadhanam. That refers to clarification of any doubts, etc., which may be raised. In fact, good teachers like Adi Shankara and all, they will anticipate the doubts and then answer those doubts themselves, right? Even if they are not raised by the students. And we have numerous examples of this in Shankara Bhashyam. You read the Bhashyam, other Bhashyam like Upanishad Bhashyam and all, he himself will raise that question and then he will answer that also. And actually that question may be lingering in our mind sometimes, right? And most importantly, whenever you are actually offering the clarifications, you have to quote the source of that clarification. On what basis you are saying this clarification also is to be quoted. The pramanam has to be quoted. That's very, very important, because it cannot be your own interpretation of what it is. Your interpretation should be based upon some scriptural basis. Source, scriptural source. So that also we will see in Vishnu Sahasranamam Bhashyam itself how many sources from the scriptures Adi Shankara quotes. For one word, he will actually come up with 40 quotes from different Puranas, Itihasas, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, everything he will quote. We will see some of them when we see, right? So Vyakhyanam Panchalakshanam, these are the 5 rules for explaining anything, any matter, right? And of course, if we go a little deep, each of these rules have got its own subdivisions and all. It's a very vast subject, right? So let us not, I just mentioned it because in this context, how to read a shloka and convert it into prose form for us to be intelligible, That is something, when you are attempting to read the shlokas yourself, and when you are also got some knowledge of the Sanskrit language, This will all be very useful exercises for you to do. That is how a sloka should be understood. First, we have to convert that into a prose form. Then we will know, and then separate all the words. Then we will know what exactly the words' meanings are. Right? This is the way we have to interpret. This is the way we have to understand these slokas or any sloka for that matter. Right? So this is how it should become. So the first question Bhishma asked was, Loke ekam daivatam kim? And other questions and all what he asked, we will see this also. And other questions we will see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Dhanyavada.
Thank you, Guruji.
Raghuji, this is Padma.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
It is in the reference to Dharma Sankadam that you talked about. In the Dharma Sankadam, that is when you compromise Dharma for a better cause, does that Dharma, because it is a karma, does it incur kutti papam, like small papa, or you're free of the papam? Like, for example, in Mahabharata, it is told when Yudhishthira told a lie, the Ratham touched the floor because his Ratham was supposed to be above, right? So what is the logic, or what? Can you share your thoughts, or what does Shastra say about that?
There is a difference now we have to understand here between two examples I gave.
Sorry?
Rama's example, Rama is avatara of Vishnu.
Yes.
Rama as avatara has no papa punya.
Okay, but Yudhishthira must,
Yudhishthira is a manushya, so he has.
Okay.
So that is something, he accepts it. In the sense that,
okay.
If for a greater good, if I have to sacrifice little of my own this thing, I am prepared to sacrifice.
Okay, that's all. I had a question. So
understand again in a different context, rather.
Yes. As an avatara, he will not incur any papam, but as a manushya, okay.
Rama also knows that, you see, he is actually Rama is only an appearance as a human being.
Yes, yes.
If you actually read this Adhyatma Ramayana, which is Valmiki has created or composed, Rama knows his Swarupa. He knows that I am Satchidananda Swarupa. He is a Jnani actually. But for the purposes of all that, teaching this Dharma to the world, he took this human avatar. So no Papa Punya, he doesn't have a rebirth.
Yes.
Rama doesn't
I was clear about that. I was clear about Rama. The same thing Krishna also, but I wanted to confirm with the Manushya avatar.
Yes. So Guruji, actually, I have a question, Raghuji. I have a question.
Yeah.
Since childhood, we have all been reciting Vishnu Sahasranamam. Only now we are trying to understand, get the benefit of teachings and learning the meanings. So there are, I have been reciting from the age of 8 or 9 or whatever. So does it, is it important for some of the things, for some shlokas, do you have to know the meaning and do it? Or can you just do it without even understanding the meaning? Because as a child, or even as you don't really think about the meaning when you study, isn't it?
Yeah. See, I'll answer that question. Because anything that we do in our life, there is a difference when we do it mechanically and when we do it with knowledge.
Correct, yeah.
Now, it is not that when you do it mechanically without understanding, it is not going to give you any benefit. It is not that. It will certainly benefit.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
And what is the benefit that you get?
Yeah.
The benefit you get is more and more chitta shuddhi.
So even without the meaning, you will still get the chitta.
Also, you will get the chitta shuddhi. But
Okay,
you
okay.
reach a stage when your chittam or your internal, this antakaranam is pure enough. Now that if you superimpose or if you put in the meanings, it will lead to knowledge.
Yeah.
Jnana.
Okay. Thank you.
So these are both
Thank
are
you.
important, both are relevant, both are different stages. Because I don't, I have not seen anybody starting to recite Vishnu Sahasranamam after knowing the meanings. Right? All of us start
Most of us,
chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, any Sahasranamam for that matter, without knowing anything only.
Yeah.
But over a
Correct,
period of time, what happens? God gives us an opportunity to know the meanings also.
Yeah, now that we have got the opportunity,
And we are actually learning the meaning so elaborately. In fact, I was actually I was in two minds. One thing is just to recite the Vishnu sloka and give the word meanings and keep going on. But according to me, that is not going to help anybody, right? But if I have to give you the explanation, I have to also fall back upon a guru like Adi Shankara, who has explained these things in such an elaborate manner. Then only it will lead to knowledge. Otherwise, a dictionary can serve the purpose of getting us the word meanings. You know, good dictionary we take, we will know the But that is not, that will lead to knowledge, isn't it? So that is why I said that even though this is going to be very elaborate, very involved teaching, let me also in the process learn what it is.
Okay.
Correct.
Honestly, I don't know the meaning of the entire.
Thank you. Thank you for the effort.
But when I am teaching you, when I am preparing to teach you, I am now referring to so many sources, and then my learning is also increasing.
Correct.
That's the biggest benefit I am deriving, and for that I am thankful to all of you. Because you are there sitting and listening to me and asking me questions. When you ask me questions, it is something new to me. So, okay, suppose I don't know the answer, I will be honest enough to tell you that I don't know the answer. I will tell you next time. I will go look up and tell you the answer. It will be learning for me also. So this is what is we have to understand the.
Teaching is the best form of learning. Teaching is a very good form of learning and improving our soul, because we are here to learn in this universe.
Absolutely. I keep
actually basically we all chant a lot of slokas and Rudram, Chamagam and all that, or even simple sloka like Yaguntentu Tudara, all these things we chant, but simply we do not understand all the meanings. I mean, some of them, when we understand the meanings, we start appreciating it much more.
Exactly.
Correct.
That's why I told, in our culture, Ishvara is to be discovered, is to be understood. How do we understand Ishvara? Through the slokas only.
Guruji, I heard a story, or somewhere I read, this Bali has been killed by Rama by hiding. So that is why in the next birth, Krishna has been killed by a hunter who is a rebirth of Bali. So that how that karma transfers from one birth to other.
The stories are all there, but we have to see what is the pramanam for those stories. Because
that's
all these, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all that. A lot of people have explaining and they use their own imagination to add, that. From the original thing. Ramayana actually go over what Valmiki has said. Mahabharata, we should see whether such instances are there in Mahabharata, which is Acharya has written that. That is the case, then we can have to understand if there is what context that has been said and all that. I am not very sure about these stories of Vali being born as hunter and Rama killed Vali, so the hunter killed Krishna. All that thing.
That story.
I've heard about it, but I have not paid very much, I would say, attention to that. Only for one reason. See, for me, whatever knowledge or thing I hear, I will first, test it against whether it is going to be useful for me for my goal in life.
Okay.
That's it. Now, whether that Rama killed Vali or whether Andhra killed Krishna, even if I know what is that thing, it is not going to help me in my moksha marga. My goal in life is moksha. So I am going towards that. What gives me jnanam, I am more interested in gaining that. That is why I said Icha Shakti, Jnana Shakti and all. We must use it with because so many things are available. It's not necessary that we have to get all the information. So that is my approach basically. So it may be true. It may be there in some, some. I have not read the whole of Mahabharata. I have not read Ramayana. So what all stories that come in that I have not read. But what I have heard from my gurus, I will say that my guru will tell me what is required for me. That is what I am sharing with you.
Okay.
But excuse me, it says that Avatara Purusha does not have any Papa, Punya or Dharma or whatever.
They don't have anything. In fact, Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam, Adi Shankara has written a Upodghata Bhashyam. Upodghata Bhashyam means an introductory commentary for the entire Bhagavad Gita, where he has dealt with all these subjects of creation, how the creation happened, how these avatars, how we have to understand these avatars, all that he has, dealt with, in a great detail. In fact, if I get an opportunity to teach Bhagavad Gita, which I very much want to rather, I will probably at that time explain all these things based on Shankara Bhashya. Very interesting, very nice. Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam is best Bhashyam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guruji, thank you.
Guruji, there is a saying. Guruji, hello.
Thank you very
Guruji,
much.
Rajgopal.
Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guruji, Rajgopal, I have a question.
Yes, Raghu.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
See, there is a saying in Tamil. Tannai kollavarum pasuviye kollu appadinu. How do you see this in terms of what is a dharma and this one adharma?
What was the saying?
Tannai kollavarum pasuviye kollu. When a cow is coming to kill you, kill the cow.
Yeah,
you can
that
kill
is
the
there.
cow.
The self-defense, that is there in the law also. Even in our law, in our constitution, that is allows that. That is there in dharma also. If somebody is come to kill you and there is no other way for you to escape, all those conditions are applicable and terms and conditions are applicable. That there is 100% surety that that person's attack is going to kill you. Then you have a right, dharmic right to protect yourself even by killing that person. That is there. These are all Dharma Rahasyams. As I told you, this Dharma Rahasyam is a very vast chapter. I have only told you a couple of examples from here and there and all what I heard from my gurus. But there are so many such things. In fact, there is a Rahasyam. In fact, there is one more instance I can quote. Non-violence, ahimsa, is a paramo dharma. Correct? Now, you can use himsa for saving somebody's life. Doctors do that. Is it adharmic? Tell me the answer. They cut the person and then they make the person bleed. Sometimes the patient may even, pass away at the surgery table itself. But what is the intention of the doctor? Save that life. So when you talk of dharma and actions related to dharma, one of the most important things that we have to take into account is the intention of doing that action. That is what our criminal law also recognizes that. Every criminal law recognizes what was the intent. Did he kill with the intent to kill, or did the killing take place by accident? He had no such intention. So this is a very well accepted rule in Dharma, that on the one hand we have got lot of dharmas, but each one of them has certain exceptions. But that has to be actually again or examined in the light of the Dharma Shastra. You cannot say, no, I did it, I thought that this will happen and all that. That is not acceptable. So, that's why I said very subtle thing. Very subtle. And people who are very well versed in Dharma only can talk about all these things. We cannot talk like this. So, even as you said, Ashok, I mean, killing a cow is supposed to be one of the Pancha Mahapapas, a big papa. But there is an exception to that also. All these will come under Dharma Rahasyams.
Namaste, Guruji. Happy New Year.
Hari Om, Happy New Year. Dhanyavadaha.
Any other, we are going to meet only in the next year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Guruji.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Anybody? Nothing is there?
Happy New Year.
Wind up with a Happy New Year wishes and meet next Sunday. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Correct.